the walking tour was led by this hugely spirited Italian man who weaved stories about the art and history and culture. I think there's a lot to be said about going outside of our comfort zones, and I think traveling as an experience has done that for me time and time again. She said to me the most wisest thing I've ever heard about adventure in my entire life. No matter if you are, like, I'm 33 now, like, no matter if you are 33 or a 7-year-old child or a 60-year-old man, like, we're all the same. Like, we all carry this experience with us. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Teaside Thursday with your artist friend, Win. This week, what we have on the menu as our drink of choice, well, as my drink of choice, is the good old Alpro plant protein chocolate milk. And what I normally do is put a cup of the chocolate milk in the microwave and I warm it up for about a minute or so. And you get this very thick, gooey, hot milk. And it's nice, it's warming, and it's cozy. And I'm in my gym attire because after recording this, I will be going to the gym. So I wanted to get dressed, get myself ready. I'm liking this color choice. I like the orange and the blue together. And now I feel like this week we're having like a proper spring weather. And that makes me feel like this color choice even pops, like, even more in sunlight, and I love it. Like, wearing bright colors, painting bright colors really makes me feel like life is, I don't know, just makes me feel a little bit more positive in life. This week I wanted to talk to you about the art of resting, the art of traveling, and the art of having adventures. And it comes at a very relevant time in this year because in a few days I will be making my first long distance trip of 2026. I'm really excited because I will actually be traveling for the first time by myself. Well, not the first time, it'll actually be my second time in my entire life traveling somewhere by myself, but I won't be alone because I'm visiting 2 new countries, and in the 2 new countries I'm gonna have my childhood friend with me who is going to meet me in my first country, which is actually her hometown, or home city, I should say. And in the second week of my trip, I'm going to meet my cousin who is working in this city that I am going to. So I'm visiting 2 cities, and I don't want to tell you what it is yet because I want to tell you about it after. I actually want to do like a sit down sort of chat with you about my experiences, what I learned. I'm going to take this camera with me as well, and I'm not gonna sort of vlog the entire thing, I don't think, but I will take some videos so that I can actually share with you on a Teaside Thursday episode of the places that I went, what I learned, what the experience was like. So hopefully it will also feel like you've been on the trip with me. So that's something to look forward to. But beforehand, I wanted to talk about the trip itself. So I wasn't, in the beginning, I wasn't going to do this trip. And the reason why I wasn't going to do it was because at this time in my life, I don't really have a stable income just yet. And I'm still working towards my goal, my dream. I'm still developing my skills. And because of all of that, sort of said, almost like internal pressure that I felt, I didn't feel like I deserved to go on this trip. I didn't feel like this trip was going to, I just felt like this trip was going to be a waste of time. And I know that may seem like a very strong way of putting it, but in my brain, if you hear some music, it's from the rubbish truck that's just arrived outside our door. But anyway, I felt like it was going to be a waste of time, that it was going to take out a lot of the time that I had preciously carved out for myself to essentially, paint, continue developing my skills, continue making these videos, continue to develop a community online. And there was a huge part of me that felt like I didn't deserve it. Like I didn't deserve to take a rest. I didn't deserve to have fun. I didn't deserve to do something nice for myself just because I wasn't earning money yet off my dream, and just because I felt like I hadn't reached my goal yet. But thankfully, I have very wise and very thoughtful and very caring people in my life, and they seem to have more reason than I do, which I really appreciate. The people closest to me, my family, my husband, my closest friends, normally they don't give me advice that I want to hear. They give me advice that I need to hear. And in this particular scenario, it was actually my aunt who made me feel like this was the right decision to do, to take 2 weeks out to, go on a trip, to explore, to drop everything, like even almost this sense of, forgetting my goal and my dream just for the sake of discovery, novelty, and inspiration. And I feel like that's what travel experiences give me. And every time I travel to a new country, I always hesitate going there. I procrastinate about it. I procrastinate about packing. I get really nervous about the travel journey. But then when I go, every country, and I kid you not, every single country I've been to, every place I've been to, have taught me something new. And for me, like, I don't know how to best describe it. When I'm outside of the house, when I am not thinking about what I'm going to do next, have I reached my goal? What about this? What about that? All of this mind chatter. When I'm not in that state, I feel the most relaxed, open, and just calm and peaceful. And in those states of mind and in those states of experience, I get a lot of downloads, I feel like, from the ether. And sometimes they come to me in the form of like thoughts. And these thoughts, most of the time, seem to be very philosophical. And I get these thoughts that feel like they are a part of the whole truth. I don't know how best to explain it. And these messages always seem to come through for me at relevant times in my life. So I'll give you an example. Last year, my husband and I went to Tuscany for our birthday trip. We have our birthdays closer to one another, so we normally do a trip to celebrate both of our birthdays. And I went to Tuscany, and we stayed at this sort of countryside area right next to the olive groves of that belonged to the Airbnb host that we stayed in. And I kid you not, in that trip, I felt like the olive trees were talking to me, because I spent a majority of my time just doing nothing. I just spent a majority of my time looking out onto the hillsides of Tuscany, and I spent my time just observing the olive trees and the way the olive trees moved, how the foliage is so light and so so just present and so still. Like Tuscany as a country is just so grounded. Like that's what I felt in that particular trip, was this huge sense of stillness and a huge sense of groundedness. And I also felt the spirit of the Italian people, because we also got out to Florence, one of the biggest cities in Tuscany, and we did this walking tour, and the walking tour was led by this hugely spirited Italian man who weaved stories about the, art and history and culture of Tuscany. And I felt this contrast between this groundedness, this stillness of these olive trees and the Tuscany countryside, alongside this fiery spirited passion of the Italian people. And during that time in my life, I was recovering from panic attacks. So it was October and November of 2025, I believe, or maybe it was September. I can't fully remember. Maybe it was September, October time. And I was recovering still from the panic attacks that I was having, and I was very confused about the direction of where I wanted to charter my dream, where I wanted to put my focus in, and whether it was even worth it for me to do these videos online, whether it was even worth it for me to continue. It was to that level of extent of considering things. And just feeling that sense of safety from the olive trees, and just feeling that sense of fiery passion from the people made me so nourished. And I realized after that trip that life is for living. You know, the Tuscany region has been through so many changes, but the fiery spirit of the Italian people had never left them. And that is evident in the art that they made, the music that they created, the architecture that is present in the whole city of Florence. So beautiful. And also in the landscapes that have shaped them, the olive groves, the hillsides that have also, I think, provided for them a sense of community and peace and also groundedness. And I feel like that's everything that I felt in that trip, because I was present and because I let go of this part of me that felt like I needed to figure everything out. A part of me that felt like I should be in X position, X place by now. A part of me that felt like I wasn't doing enough. A part of me that felt like I didn't deserve the good things in my life. And I think there's a lot to be said about going outside of our comfort zones. And I think traveling as an experience has done that for me time and time again. To seek out novelty in travel experiences has not only been a sense of rest, but also this sense of learning for myself, that now I'm really curious about what the two countries that I'm about to visit is going to teach me, because I think, it's going to be different. I think both of these countries will have something to teach me that I don't know about. And I'm going to go in there similarly to the trip in Tuscany. I'm going to go there with my heart open, my mind relaxed as much as I can, and try to sort of be open to these experiences. And I will now tell you what my aunt shared with me. So I was basically sending voice messages to her. She lives back in my home country of Myanmar. And I was just, sending her a message back saying, oh, yes, I'm going to go to these countries. And I initially wasn't going to go because I felt like, I am not making money yet. I have so many things to do. And I feel like I don't have the time to rest, and I feel like going to these countries will only, waste more time. And she said to me the most wisest thing I've ever heard about adventure in my entire life. And I'm gonna translate it for you. So I'm gonna actually get out that voice message right now, and I'm gonna play that clip, and I'm gonna translate it to you as best as I can in English. So hold on a sec.
တွားကျင်တဲ့နေရာတွေကိုလေအရွယ်ရှိတော့မှတွားတာတွားတမီဒီလားငါပတ်စံအများကြီးရှိမှတွားမယ်လို့ငါဘတော်မှတွားမယ်လို့ငါပါကိစ္စပြီးမှတွားမယ်လို့အဲ့လိုမျိုးတွေလုပ်နေရင်လေတဖြည်း
So
တမီတွားကျင်တဲ့နေရာတွေကိုလေအရွယ်ရှိတော့မှတွားတာတွားတမီဒီလားငါပတ်စံအများကြီးရှိမှတွားမယ်လို့
I forget very easily. I have a very bad short-term memory. So I'm just going to relay it bit by bit. She said, daughter, because that's what we call each other. Like if you're older or younger, well, the older people normally, say daughter or son to younger people in Myanmar. So she said, daughter, if you have somewhere that you want to go, she said, go. Don't think that I will only go if I have X amount of money in the bank. Don't think that I am only going to go in X time in the future. Don't think that I'm only going to go once this X thing in my life is completed. She said, because if you do that, if you think and postpone that trip for a future period, she said, what only happens is time just passes day by day. She said the best thing is to travel when you are at a good age, when you are physically well and fit and healthy, and when you're at a good age. She said, for myself, she said there are many places that I wanted to go to that I didn't go to. She said, when I was young, she said, I wanted to go to these places, but instead I thought about the things that I told you. She said, I thought about the fact that I'm only going to go when I have X amount of money in the bank, when this thing is completed sometime in the future. And she said, right now, I regret postponing those trips, postponing those journeys very much. She said, I really, really want to travel. And she said, if I think back about the times in my life, and I think this is what she means. I think when she thinks back to the, adventurous, good times in her life, she said, those times and also any time in our past, we can never get back. And she said, time moves very quickly. And she said, time moves very quickly and situations and things also change very quickly.
ဖြစ်တာပေါ့နော်တမီတရားသဘောနဲ့ပြောရင်ဖြစ်ချင်းပြစ်ချင်းတွေကတအားမြန်နေလေတမီနော်အဲ့တော့ပြောစရာရှိတာကိုပြော
And she said because we're all Buddhist, she said, in the belief of Buddhism, in Buddhist sort of way of thought, we believe that, things are impermanent, things are always in a state of flux, and things are always temporary. So with that in mind, I think what she's trying to say is that time is impermanent. Time is also temporary. Time also moves very quickly. And situations and things move very quickly. So she said, be happy. She said, be happy. Go to wherever you want to go. Do whatever you need to do. She said, do what you need to do. And gosh, it makes me emotional because this message, I listened to it, especially this last part, is my current lesson in life at the moment that I would like to practice more. So basically, in the last part of this voice message, she said, be happy, do what you want to do, go to the places you want to go, and do things in a light-hearted way, especially when you are at a good age. So I hope that I translated that for you as best as I can, and I hope that message carried through in the most purest way, as best as, I could translate it. So for me, like when I heard this message, like it just hit home for me because I wasn't going to do that. And I have this very like fixated mindset, and it obviously is derived from multiple things in my life. My family, came from my family, as in my immediate family, my mom and my dad, my sister and I, we are immigrants to this country, the UK. And I think even my aunt may not be able to relate to the fact that because we moved to a new country from Myanmar all the way to the UK, we had to survive as a family, My dad worked very long hours. My mom moved from her home country, somewhere that she loved being in. She had friends and family, a whole amazing, beautiful life there. And she was a professor at a university, so she quit all of that to come to the UK to take care of my sister and I. And it makes me really sad because that is such a story that is sort of prominent in my life. And we grew up basically on survival mode, right? Because in order to sort of come to a new country means to assimilate to the new country. It means to do the things that the people in the new country are doing. It means to make sure that we have a good position in this country so that we don't get looked down on. A lot of racist situations happened when I was young, and that is very much a reality that we also lived with. And my parents brought my sister and I up to do well in life. We were taught, and I never blame them for it because it makes complete sense. We were taught to get the highest grades in school. And I never really had much sort of downtime when I was young. I never really had the opportunity to spend a lot of time with friends and sort of go to birthday parties, basically have a really normal childhood. I talk to my husband and he talks about going to birthday parties and all of that stuff, which I can hardly relate to because my dad was really strict, and he never would even like let us out to go to friends' birthday parties even that much, because he really wanted us to succeed in school. And the reason why is because he wanted us to get good jobs. And the whole sort of conversation around immigrating and being immigrants is a separate conversation in itself. But I'm touching on it in our conversation here to give a little bit of context. So, because of all of that, like, I grew up watching my parents work really hard and also watching them assimilate to this new country. And I also brought on a lot of beliefs that I must also work hard to get to X position and to keep up my position and to continue to do well. So see how that feels like even my breathing is very fast because there is so much pressure that is like bottled up here inside. And that is essentially, I think, the experience of a lot of immigrants. So you might be an immigrant yourself and you can relate to it. I know you can, because it's such a shared experience that we all have. But if you are not an immigrant and you're watching this video, I would say have some compassion and have some empathy and have some understanding for the rest of us who are immigrants in new countries. Like, no matter if you are, like, I'm 33 now, like, no matter if you are 33 or a 7-year-old child or a 60-year-old man, like, we're all the same. Like, we all carry this experience with us, and it's an experience that doesn't necessarily 100% go away, and it's an experience that comes with very beautiful things. Like, I know how privileged I am, because whenever I go back to my country, it makes me realize my privilege and my position even more. But it also comes with a lot more pressure, because you want to do well for yourself, because you want to do well for your countrymen and women. Like, the whole story around all of this is, and I've delved in it with my therapist as well, because it's a very alive experience. The whole experience is, I think as immigrants, we all want that huge decision to cross the ocean, to come and live and start a new life, to mean something. I didn't leave my country. I didn't leave my family. I didn't leave the culture, the food, the place that I love and I know for nothing. Like, I came for a reason. And a lot of us do make it. We become very successful people. We become very established people. And we become also very respected people in society. But the whole other side to it is, I don't know if we know how to rest properly. I don't know if we know how to let go of the internal pressure that we feel sometimes to, just to have fun. Like just to rest, like just to not think about your goals or your dreams or what you're doing like this next hour, and what you're gonna cook, and how you're gonna sort of provide for your family, like just not think about all of that, and just to like find a place for ourselves where other thoughts, other new experiences can touch us. And if I think to like right now, like my generation, I am an immigrant. I wasn't born in this country. I have this experience in me, but also I'm of a different generation to my parents. And I think that the good thing about this is I have the opportunity to approach things a little bit differently this time. And the thing about sort of these like sort of experiences that lives inside us, that are very alive and very prominent, because it's so ancestral, right? It gets passed down from generation to generation. Because it's so ancestral, I think sometimes we think that things have to stay the way they are, right? But I think, and this is my theory, right? I think that the thing that most parents want, whether they're immigrants or not, is for their children to be happy and for their children to, number one, be happy. So yesterday I was watching this video. It's by this channel called School of Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks. And basically this young guy travels around different countries and interviews millionaires and billionaires, and he asks many different types of questions in various videos. He asks, how did you make this money? How did you invest this money? What did you do to get to where you are? What's your message to the younger generation? And the video that I watched yesterday was, do you regret becoming a billionaire? So that was the title of the video, I believe. And it was so insightful because it actually becomes a conversation that's not purely about money, but also it gets quite philosophical. It gets down into the nitty-gritty of life lessons that they've learned. And one of them said something that was really insightful. So it was an older man, I think he's in his 50s or 60s, and he's a billionaire, right? He's made tons of money, he's successful. And he said that one of the things that he tells his children is to actually seek happiness and seek sort of self-fulfillment, self-expression, and happiness first. He said, so this was his like message to the younger generation, but he explains that is also what he teaches his sons and daughters. He said the number one thing he asks them to prioritize is their happiness. And then the second thing is, if they manage to create a life where they are able to make a lot of money and be successful, he said that's a bonus. But he said, for me, the happiness comes first. I just think about that, right? Like I understand that my parents were never in a position to even think about putting happiness first, because my mom and dad had to put food on our plates, on our dining table. Like that's what they had to do. And I think a lot of my generation, I think probably millennials, I'm not sure about Gen Zs, but I think millennials definitely feel this sense of, I think sometimes obligation as well, that, my parents worked hard to get me this life, so it's my duty to continue to work hard so that I can also be successful like them. And I think that is a valid point to make, but I think that is also only half of the conversation. And the other half that I think, especially at this day and age, we are learning to embrace more and more is that grinding 24/7 is actually, especially at this day and age, not the way to not only make money, but also be successful. I think these days we require a different set of skills to reach that success, to get that money, because we have the internet, we have technology, we have artificial intelligence, and it requires us to use a lot more of our creative minds. And I think that our creative minds work a lot better when we rest, when we let go, when we surrender to the present moment and be open to new experiences and new activities in life. I know I make a lot of sense right now because it sounds logical to me when I say these things out loud. But I also know that is the hardest thing to practice. Because when you have so much responsibility that you feel over your shoulder, it's really hard to just let it all go and drop it for the sake of a novel experience, for the sake of adventure, for the sake of rest, for the sake of just telling myself that I do deserve to go on a trip. I do deserve, even if I haven't reached, like my aunt said, even if I haven't reached that X position, that X future, this X amount of money, that I do still deserve to travel, to spend time with my friend, my cousin, to learn about new countries and new culture. Like, I do deserve it. So that's really what I wanted to share with you in this conversation. And I'm going to try and keep it short because actually I'm traveling tomorrow. and and I'm going to edit this video today, and I don't want it to be so long because I have loads of other things I need to sort out before I leave. But I'm going with that mindset that, I will be keeping an open mind, and I will be resting, and I will be trying to just let go and trying to see the bigger picture, trying to see the whole forest, live in the whole forest, So, yeah. And I'm excited because the past 3 months have been really intense. And I was reflecting on this with my husband, and we're on a walk one of the days last week. And I told him, like, I never used to get this exhausted when I was working for someone. I would look forward to the weekends. I would be so happy to spend time by myself. And I would just look forward to just relaxing, and then I'll be ready to go again, on Monday. But since working for myself, technically, there are so many things that I am balancing energetically too. That is not just about kind of trying to complete a task. Like when I used to work with someone, it was to complete a task. But my energy is also so consumed by the fact that my future is uncertain. I don't know always if I'm doing the right thing. And those thoughts itself, I feel like take so much energy that it drains me a lot, even outside of the paintings and the videos that I do, even outside of my gym sessions, and even outside of, praying and meditating, like even outside of my daily life, like these thoughts, I feel like have been taking up like almost like half of my energetic resource. So I'm looking forward to this trip a lot, and I'm really looking forward to sharing it with you. I will show you what these two countries are like. You can look forward to, and maybe in the comments you can guess where I'm going. Yeah, maybe you can guess where I'm going. And yeah, I'll take videos. I don't know if there's gonna be lots of videos, but I'll definitely try to take videos, even if it's on my phone. I'll take videos of the different places and I'll show you. And I didn't really share about my past travel experiences before ever, but travel is a huge part of my life. And now, like, I will share with you, and I will begin to share with you the places that I traveled to, what I learned, and hopefully you will also get to experience this with me too. I'm gonna love you and leave you and thank you so much for holding this space right here. Thank you so much for the conversations, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you give yourself the opportunity to rest, to let go. And I hope you can also find the spaces in yourself where you already feel deserving of rest, of adventure, of novelty, of all the experiences that you want to have in this world whilst you are here on earth. I hope you can find that love and courage in yourself to feel deserving of those experiences and also to live out these experiences. And I'm hoping that you being on this channel with me means I can get to share more of myself, more of my life, and what inspires me with you. And hopefully that will inspire you to continue visiting other countries, experiencing new cultures, stepping outside of your comfort zone for the sake of novelty and rest and adventure. Okay, I will see you in the next Teesside Thursday episode. Bye.